Welcome to Politically Incorrect. Once again, let me introduce you to our panel tonight. I'm very honored to have this man to my right here. This is Representative Joan Conyers. We know you are very busy in Washington. You're the minority ranking member of the House Judiciary Committee, and I don't think there's probably a busier committee right now for Michigan's 14th District. Thank you for being here, Congressman.
Pleasure's all mine.
To his right is Bruce Zable. Bruce, you are here. This is a good night. We were supposed to have the Emmys last night. You are the CEO and chairman of the Academy of Television Arts and Sciences, so appropriate that you're here tonight. Over here is the director of the Muslim Public Affairs Council. Thank you for being here. Salaam Al-Marayati. Did I say that right?
Yes, very good. Thank you.
Okay. And of course, Joan Rivers is Joan Rivers. I don't think we need a big introduction there. But I will mention that you are going to be at the forum at Madison Square Garden on November 7th and the 14th. I would love to see what you have to say in your stand-up these days. And I'm sorry we didn't get to see you last night at the Emmys. That is a treat I think all America looks forward to, as they do the whole show. I was very disappointed that they were canceled. I'll be frank with you, sir. I don't think they should have been. I thought it was, they canceled them. I said to myself immediately, it's an honor just to be evacuated.
I was just trying to take the heat off you, Bill, and give America someone else to be mad at.
Well, thank you, but...
Why did they finally do it? Did they do it because they thought so many celebrities in one spot is a thing? Because they want to get celebrities in one spot. You go to the Betty Ford Clinic. I mean, that's where you go. You don't go to the Emmys. We dribble in there.
You can't throw a party that people don't want to come to. And I think a lot of people woke up in the morning, they turned on the TV, and they saw that we were at war, and they said, I've got concerns about showing up.
I'm sorry, I disagree.
Okay.
I think people saw...
It's your show.
I think... I think people saw we were at war, and that put them in a good mood. I think people were going, oh, good, we're fighting back.
Because you can have sex with people more easily. You know, I may never see you again. What the hell? Let's go. You know, that's yes, the good part about war, and you know it. Everybody figures I'll never see you again. Give me a kiss. No, it's a whole different attitude.
But I'm just talking about the fact that since we started our counterattack yesterday, I think that put people in a good mood. It would have been the perfect time to have the Emmys. And USA Today said the decision was made, quote, soon after some top TV stars backed out. And I think, as usual, a lot of people, a lot of the stars in Hollywood sort of covered their fear with false humility. You know, it was a lot of that, well, we can't have the Emmys because we're just insignificant and it's not really about us. When really maybe they were just afraid because they think they're insignificant, however, they're the next target.
Or maybe
the World Trade Center, the Pentagon, us. You know, that's...
Maybe it also is, I'm not going... The thing is, I'm not going because I'm going to lose. You know, that could be a joke.
Well,
I think people didn't want to come because of those who said that, because they felt that they might look kind of trivial. And what if we gave out the awards and nobody was there? Then they'd look like these people were just hell-bent to give out awards. And I think people were concerned about that.
But the stars should show up. I thought
they should.
I thought the terrorists win when we don't get back to normal.
Yes. But Will, we actually went to war yesterday. That was the difference.
We went to war September 11th. What are you all saying yesterday?
The military went to war.
The president said we're at war.
Our brave soldiers went to war. They stepped up and did their part, just like the cops stepped up and did their part. The firemen in New York stepped up. We're in show business. We should step up and do our part, which is entertaining.
That's right. But to speak up for the people in show business who did not want to attend yesterday, I think that they felt that they didn't want to share the spotlight with those same brave men and women who were putting themselves in harm's way. And they thought that it would be better for them to not make that comparison, and that they would trivialize the contributions those other people were making.
You know,
you may not buy it, but that's what their thoughts were.
I really think it's part of the Hollywood guilt complex, is that Hollywood would get dumped on. Now, the Congressional Black Caucus had the same decision to make a couple of weeks ago, a couple of Saturdays ago to be exact, and we polled all our members, 38, and we decided overwhelmingly that we had to go on with our 30th annual event in Washington, D.C., because people wanted to see us out. They wanted to see us
Yes.
taking care of business.
Congressman, also,
doing.
it's not the same thing. I can understand both sides of the fence. Also, it's one thing to go to a meeting, yes, we're still here, but to say, I won, and I'm so happy, you feel guilty too.
That's the difference, and that's what
I can understand that also.
People were totally responding to that. And in fact, keep in mind, I mean, I don't want to become the apologist for the stars that didn't show up. The Academy actually said, let's go on. This is important. We've been told by our president, even by Mayor Giuliani, to do exactly what you're suggesting, to carry on. And so we already postponed once, and then we set it for the 7th. So
and even as it was going to be presented, it was sort of not really the Emmys anyway. It was a lot of
toned down.
It was
toned down, and we are not worthy.
What about age appropriate? I had to wear a shroud. I mean, the whole thing was so to become age appropriate. I got so depressed. I went back and forth in that closet more times than Anne Hesh. Oh, should I wear this? Should I wear that? Should I wear this? Should I wear that? It was terrible. I was going crazy.
You know, it was one of those things where 50% are going to like what you do and 50% aren't, and so you try to do the right thing, but
I didn't talk to anyone who wanted the Emmys canceled.
They wanted the Emmys,
and they wanted the Emmys the way you do the Emmys, with the red carpet and show business.
Honestly, I feel like that was a minority opinion in Hollywood. I mean, whether,
Can I tell you the
think
truth?
people wanted some changes because they wanted to feel like they were being respectful.
It was also different yesterday because they came out and they said, we have bombed Afghanistan and get ready for retaliation. And I think everybody thought, oh my God, let's stay home. What's the first thing you think? I want to stay home.
Stay home with my family.
I want to stay home with my family. I can
on.
understand where a lot of people said, I'm not going out.
I saw this guy on Larry King last night, Larry Johnson. He's a terrorism expert. He said, one thing everyone can do is stop being afraid.
Well, I think that's good advice.
But I don't think that's the message that the Emmy thing sent. I mean, they didn't want to fly out from New York. They didn't want to gather in this one building. I think we need to put on a braver face to these terrorists. I think they need to see a little steely resolve here, that they're not winning, that we're not afraid, that we're not wallowing in our pain, that we are just really out to, do the justice and not be what I think they think of as Americans sometimes, as people who are...
What's wrong with Emmy winners winning humbly with some humility?
Right. They were prepared. Everyone was prepared.
It's also boring.
They fake that every year anyway.
Why should...
These are actors and actresses. They couldn't pull this off.
I owe this to so many people. Yeah, right. I slept with the right guy. I mean, we all know what that's about. But you wanted to be full of fun. I didn't want a maudlin show. I didn't want to see them all being sad.
Ellen DeGeneres was busy putting some of the humor back into it, and I think it would have had some moments that were very touching and some moments that were pretty darn funny, and we were hoping that it would all be something that lifted spirits, but obviously you can't do that if people don't show up.
Are we going to have it now?
They're going to just mail them. Just mail the damn things. Everyone, Sarah Jessica Parker, how much longer can she wait? Just mail her the damn Emmy. That's
it. True. If I have to put them in the backseat of my car and deliver them, I'll do it. But I think right now our intent is to figure out some way that is not a live audience, because the problem with why the 2 cancellations happened is you're live, you've got a big audience, they have to show up, and then some event comes along that makes the audience not want to show up. So we have to figure out some other way to do this. And I'm not sure what it is yet, but we're working on it.
You mean they could start another war? I mean, how many times could this happen?
Well, no, but
we already started the war.
So we scheduled.
The war is going to go on for a long time.
The war is going to go on for a long time.
And as you said, the terrorists cannot win by having us hide from our regular lifestyle.
Right.
We have to be together. We have to be out there. We have to do what we normally do. We cannot show this fear to the terrorists, or they will win.
They can't imprison us, but we can imprison ourselves.
That's right.
I have my plastic surgeon living with me now. I'm so nervous. I am so nervous.
We'll be right back. All right, I want to get to your issue about civil liberties, but you got to tell this story you told me in the break about this, more about this.
Vincent Price, who was one of the great actors, is married to a woman named Carl Brown, who was a big English actress. And she said during the war, the Blitz was 63 nights consecutive bombings.
Of London.
In London. they would start a show every night, and then they would hear the sirens. They would all go down to the bomb shelters. When the sirens said all clear, they would come up and finish the show. And she said, we did that, darling, for 63 nights to show them we're not going to be taken down by them. And I thought, that's so wonderful. So wonderful.
Yeah.
That's what we did. It's great.
It happened to, there's no business like show business. The show must go on.
The show must go
even
on.
when they are...
They were bombing the hell out of it. Into the basement. All clear. Everybody up. Where were we?
We're
Hello,
doing a little of
Charles.
that.
You know,
Okay.
right back to the play.
Now, let me get to your issue, because you are on the Judiciary Committee, as I mentioned, and you passed 36-0. Everyone voted for it, I think, and rightly so. The measures that we are trying to undertake right now to ensure that this doesn't happen again. Obviously, we are giving up some of our civil liberties for some more security. You have some reservations about that.
Well, not that much. Actually, we worked
Like I say, no reservations. We're all good.
Well, the Ashcroft bill we had reservations about.
Okay.
But that was a starter. Our lawyers went to work right away, worked through the nights and weekends, and we, working with Republicans, Jim Sensenbrenner, the chairman, I want to let everybody know we worked very closely together, and our staffs. And we were working with civil liberties, civil rights groups. I mean, this was not a closed room secret where you wouldn't see the 107 pages until that was all finished. We were working these problems out with this FISA court, this Foreign Intelligence Secret Court, with the immigrant problems. And the reason I conditioned this is that I went in there with the premise that we do not have to sacrifice any of our constitutional liberties to get more security.
You know, I would agree to a point, which is I see what's going on in airports now, for example, and I think it's silly, it's not working. I think we are pretending that we need to treat every single person in America as an equal suspect, and that's ridiculous. It's not the way the Israelis do it. You are level 1, level 2, level 3 of security risk. Instead of having, you know, basically Richard Jewell, you know, 24-year-old rent-a-cops there, checking everyone the same, don't you think it would be smarter to have really smart detectives, to have a force of detectives guarding every important installation, people like a Secret Service for citizens? You know, Secret Servicemen don't check everybody. They know what they're looking for. They're smart. We're not using our brain power.
It's a great idea. Do we profile people based on their nationality then, if
Partly,
that's the case?
yes.
Yeah.
But see, I think
That's the reality.
Number one, I don't think that we want to follow the line of Israel, because I think there's still a war, there's still a conflict, and they haven't resolved the terrorist problem.
And they haven't had a
area.
plane hijacked.
But there's still a problem of terrorism there.
So but there's a problem of terrorism here now.
Yes, there is. But if we start, this is a different society. This is America. This
and
is where
6,000 people
are
dead because this is America. We're so damn stupid.
But we also have to understand that terrorists have no faith. They have no nationality. There could be somebody like Timothy McVeigh tomorrow.
That is
you
a
never know when it's going to be.
That's a red herring. I'm sorry, sir. I can't agree with you there. Timothy McVeigh, yes, it could be Timothy McVeigh. That did happen. But to pretend that there is an equal threat from that, we did this with AIDS. We pretended that the threat was equal. It wasn't. It was mostly a disease that was carried by intravenous drug users and homosexuals. And there were a lot of people who said we could have made a lot more progress with that disease if we had attacked it intellectually instead of politically. And we seem to be doing the same thing here. We're pretending that everyone is equally a risk. That is just not true.
And there aren't enough security forces in all of America to treat every airport that way, because we're going to have to.
But why can't we hire them? Well, that's what I'm saying. Why can't we hire a Secret Service for the people? And it would be better for Muslim Americans, because these people would know the questions to ask, and the people, they would look at you and ask you 2 questions, and you would be on your way, because they're trained and they're smart. I look at the films of airports on TV, I can tell that's Bob from Ohio, taking away his nail clippers. That's not going to solve the problem.
I agree
Detectives using detection.
Yes, and you have to have some confidence in the intelligence service, in the security apparatus that we have today. It's a very rigorous system that we have. I think we have to be reassured with that system, with the fact that our government is doing the right thing in terms of security.
Are you flying?
Yes, I am.
I've flown 5 times since September 11th. 5 times. I am terrified. And I don't want to say, I have to be a nice person. I don't want to say, well, that one doesn't. When I'm kissing my ass goodbye, my last thought does not want to be, I should have thought I didn't like his looks. I can't deal with that anymore.
We can't go by looks. It's not something you're going to be able to.
But I know a man named Sven at this point is not going to start up.
What about Middle Eastern-looking people?
Well, are you saying that we ask Salaam more questions because of how he looks?
Yes. It has to be.
I mean,
it's terrible, but it has to be.
I think that's wrong.
I agree
it's absolutely wrong.
So what
because what are we going to? Where's the extension of the logic? Should we have planes for Middle Eastern-looking people, and then planes for white people, and then planes for black people?
Yes, if white people are blowing up.
That's exactly where we were 100 years ago.
But wait a second. No. But if white people are blowing up, then yes, you watch out a little more carefully when the white people go through. If Indians are blowing up,
that's the overgeneralization that we have to be very careful.
If you are on the ground, when you're up in the air, Congressman, when you're up in the air and you're dying, you cannot anymore say, I'm trying to be nice and I'm trying to be fair. I don't want to die in a plane because I was being polite.
No one else does either.
I know that.
Okay.
But I cannot sit back and have this happen.
I think we have to... Go ahead.
Go ahead, I'm sorry.
Let me suggest to you, before we enact another police layer in America, we have quite a few of them right now.
And good for, you know something, we should have had more. I'm so tired of hearing about this.
Just a moment.
I come from ground zero.
I
don't want to hear anymore. This country must, if we have to search the damn Statue of Liberty, let's take that dress and throw it over our head. We are at war, for God's sake. We are at war.
Now, first of all, we are not at war. We haven't declared war against anybody.
But the president says we're at war.
We are not at war.
We are using military tactics against terrorists. There is no named nation of which we are at war with, and the president has said that too. But let me go back to the premise here, which is
we're at war with a threat that crosses national boundaries.
But
we are still at war.
We should not be at war with each other. That's the issue.
Okay,
but we're not. Just hold your thought. I have to take a commercial. We'll come right back to you when we finish. All right, I'm sorry, Congressman, you were saying.
I wanted to throw out the position that there have been a lot of problems with our law enforcement. So I wanted to try to restrain us from saying more cops, more FBI, more people. We have several problems. The FBI has been notably ineffective in the last few years. And we need to not just to knock them in the CIA, but to understand what creates this problem. In addition, we have people coming through the airports, Bill, that are watching and checking, who are privately hired people, sometimes not well trained, that varies greatly, we found, from company to company and airport to airport. And so what we need to do is get a higher quality, better trained, and better paid people working at the airports so that we can get more efficiency and more effectiveness.
But I don't think Bill is saying just more. You're saying different tactics.
I'm saying, like the Secret Service guys, you look at them, look at the crowd. They know what they're looking for. They don't have to check everybody the same way. They know what they're looking for, and that is not a slight against Muslims, because as I say, I think it would be better for Muslim Americans too, because obviously 99.9999% of them are the most loyal Americans. They left their countries to be in this country. But the right pair of eyes knows what to look for. Instead of making everyone wait 3 hours in line, the guy who's checking you knows you're not the guy. Right. You know you're not the guy. We're kidding each other.
But the major part of the responsibility for law enforcement, and quite frankly the American Muslim community, as you're suggesting, which is correct, is what happens before people go to the airport. In other words, we had a meeting with the FBI that develops a means of cooperation, a means of community policing, so that if we see anything that is extremist behavior, criminal behavior, or somebody that wants to commit a criminal act, we report that. That will be the preventive mechanism of doing that, because, as Benjamin Franklin said, those who seek temporary safety by sacrificing their civil liberties deserve neither. And American Muslims want to be responsible as American citizens, but they also should not have to prove their patriotism to others. They can prove that they are decent Americans along with everybody else in a collective manner.
Everybody nowadays sort of has to prove their patriotism.
In a collective manner.
Trust me.
Yes.
I know. Let's take a break. We'll be right back. Excuse me. I'm sorry. Salaam, tell me quickly what you said.
The Quran says, stand up for justice and truth, even if it is against yourself or your family.
Good words to remember. Thank you very much, Joan.